Hello everybody, I hope you're doing really well today. I feel a little bit off balance. I feel uncomfortable. So if you appreciate me coming on and doing these lives and making myself uncomfortable, give me a thumbs up, let me know that you appreciate it, because it is hard for me sometimes. Actually, more often than not, it takes considerable effort. Like, I sit there and before I even press the go live button, it's like I get anxiety and it's like, oh God, it's scary. So to everybody that thinks like, oh, Billy's really charismatic, he can just jump in front of the camera and talk for 20 minutes and he's really interesting, it's really hard for me to do, I'll be completely honest. I think for me it's easier than for some, but it still isn't easy. It's still a very difficult thing for me to do. So if you appreciate it, please drop me a heart, give me a like, tell me, let me know that you appreciate it, because I really do this for you. I'd much rather be doing something else, to be honest. I'd rather go and have a lay down, have a rest, do something else. But I want to help you, I want to inspire you, I want to share with you everything that I have. So if you appreciate it, please let me know. I'm just going to open up the live on my other phone here. I will be taking questions, if I get any, and comments and things from my Facebook personal profile. So if you're watching from Instagram or from one of my Facebook pages, come over to my Facebook profile. While you're there, add me as a friend. I'd love to have you as a friend. And say hello, leave me your questions, leave me your comments. So let me just get this open. Here. So, I've got it here. So if you've got any questions for me, you've got any comments, let me know. So today I want to talk about healing. What is healing? What does healing look like? What really even is it? Because this is something I got stuck with, and I know most people that I speak to are stuck here as well. And once I broke through this belief, it changed everything. It changed my life. And I was just speaking with another healer just a minute ago. We had a call. She's actually going to come into the academy and do an interview, and she's invited me to join her on a webinar in September. So you'll get news about that when that's occurring. But we were talking about this, and it really, I feel like the universe just gives me something that I need to talk about. It just gives me a series of events that happen, and it's like, okay, no, I know I have to share this. This is important for somebody that's following me to hear. Somebody else needs to hear this. So this started off with, I was speaking with somebody that I've said that I would like to work with and that I'd like to help. And so this is like a one-on-one thing. And they when they messaged me, they said, oh, you're not fully healed. And this made me feel insecure. And I've done a lot of work on myself, and I can feel when I get triggered, when I get emotionally triggered. And this brought up feelings of insecurity, of worthlessness, of needing to seek validation. And I know this is still something I haven't healed yet, so this is something I'm going to work on. But I wanted to give you all a complete picture of exactly where I'm at, so you'll understand that healing isn't a destination. You don't come and work with me and then at the end of it you are healed. You don't embark on a healing journey to become healed at the end of it. It's this constant process of layers, like an onion. You have an issue, you work to heal it. As soon as that issue is healed, something else will come up. Healing goes so deep, and in my experience, it works like a pyramid. So we've got physical layers of health, but then it goes to mental, emotional, and spiritual as well. So as we begin to really become physically very healthy, your childhood trauma will come up, your self-sabotaging behaviors, all of these other aspects will flash up, and you'll have to address them, and you'll have to work on them if you want to really continue healing. And this is the biggest point that I want to make, is it's a continual process. You don't get there. You're never going to be healed. This isn't a thing that exists. Healing is a constant work. It is a state of being. It's not a journey to a location. It is a way of living. And shifting your mindset from so this is something that I had. I will be happy when X, or I will feel like I'm healed when I can introduce a new food, or I can do X, Y, or Z. I would always have conditions on what I interpreted as success. So I will feel okay when X. And this mindset is destructive. It will absolutely ruin your life, because you will stop doing things and you'll say, oh, I'll go and do this holiday, or I will go and do this experience, or I will go and do this when I'm healed. And it doesn't work like this. You need to be living your life. You need to be doing these things. I mean, I know it's impossible. Say you're bedridden and you can't get out of bed. You can't go and climb a mountain. It's not realistic. To be honest, I would say I'm probably at the stage now where I'm physically healthy enough that if I wanted to go and climb a mountain, I could, which is just remarkable. So it's a process. It's a gradual process, and there is no destination. You're not trying to get to healed. It doesn't work like that. Let me just see if we have any comments. No. If you have any comments or questions, or if this is relatable, please let me know. I'd love to hear. I'm doing this to try and engage a dialogue on this, so I'd love to get your feedback as well. Healing is all about trying to become the truest and wholest version of yourself, so that you are able to fulfill and to live your best life. And it's hard to do that when you've got physical symptoms, but again, it's mental and emotional and higher levels too. It's hard to enjoy yourself. Say you've got emotional traumas of fear when you can't go out and enjoy yourself because you're afraid of everything. So that could manifest as something like agoraphobia, where you're just afraid to leave the house. You can't live the best life. So healing in that aspect is a mental or an emotional problem. I mean, I'm sure there could be physical aspects as well that require healing. But healing is all about the direction that you're headed. Healing isn't the destination. Healing is, are you moving towards the objective frame of reality? Are you trying to figure out, healing isn't like patching things on. It's like taking things off. It's very minimalist. And this is because simplicity is the highest form of sophistication. When we take all of the fluff away and we get rid of all of the things that we're carrying, our negative thoughts, our negative self-talk, self-sabotaging beliefs, negative behaviors, bad body image, we can really find who we actually are at our essence, at our core. And this is here. That core is present in everybody watching this now, especially you. It's there. It's in me. But I've got layers of shame, trauma, I've got physical illness, I've got all these different things that stop me being able to be whole, to be exactly who I am. I'm just going to wave to some of you guys that are watching. So, hello Anita, hello Jasmine, hello Nancy, hello Carol, and hello Manti. It's lovely to have you. I hope this is interesting to you. So let me give you an idea of my physical level of health at the minute, because I think earlier when this lady was saying, oh, so I asked to work with her one-on-one, and I invited her to join the academy, and she's saying, oh, you're doing all of these things and you're not healed yet. And it triggered, I have this pattern, it continually triggers, where I feel like a fraud, like I feel fraudulent because of me. I'm trying to help people achieve things and I haven't achieved them yet. This doesn't mean that I won't. These are just further destinations on my healing journey. I can actually see a point where I'm completely physically healed. I already know that I'm going to reach that point. It's just a matter of time. I know I'm in alignment with that. So I can see that. And once you can get to that point, it's really nice because you stop stressing all the time, like, am I doing something wrong? What am I missing? It's like, I know I'm going to heal and I'm going to get there, and I feel that. And that's really what I like to do to get people to in one-to-one coaching. If I can get you to the point where you know that your healing is an inevitability and it's just about putting in the time and effort, that's fantastic. So with regards to my physical health, I will tell you, I still have to take rest through the day. I have to go lay down a little bit. My gut is still not where I want it to be. I still eat quite a restricted diet, and like I feel like shame. I feel really uncomfortable telling you these things because I know I'm talking about like the 5 pillars and like how to reverse histamine intolerance. I'll tell you, I still have histamine intolerance. And like these negative thoughts come up and they're like, oh, you try to teach people how to reverse histamine intolerance and you haven't even done it yourself yet. That's so fraudulent. You're just manipulating people. You're taking advantage of them because they're desperate. But I know it's not true. And I know these are just, these beliefs don't serve me. They don't serve anybody. They're completely self-sabotaging. I do understand how the body works. Everything that I put into that histamine intolerance course is science. It's well documented, and it's just a process. And this is the thing, it's a process that takes time. I can tell you, so from my past, I was exposed to mold for 7 years. This has absolutely destroyed my immune system. My immune system is kind of a bit crazy. It's a little bit, I would say it's oversensitive, but it's not, because it's responding correctly because it had such an extreme stress. It had an extreme stress response. We've got Tobias watching us now as well. Hello, Tobias. And the process of rebuilding that immune system and calming it back down, it takes time. And implementing all of the changes that are in these courses, in my one-to-one, all of these things that I teach, even if you implement them like this, it still can take time for you to heal. And this is what I'm trying to emphasize here is I'm doing everything that I talk about in my workshops. The 5 pillars is always the forefront of my mind when I'm thinking about my gut. I do everything in all of the workshops that I teach. And I've seen massive results, but I'm not 100% healed. I still have histamine intolerance. My gut is still not where I want it to be. I have food sensitivities. If I eat a food that I'm sensitive to, I'll have a bed day. Okay, no, that is a lie. I used to just like lay in bed, not do anything productive. The last time I had something that I'm sensitive to, I managed to do 3 business calls in one day, and I was working productively in between. Sure, I was laying in my bed while I was doing it, but still, it's a huge change from where I've been. So these are the things that I still want to improve. But now I have to tell you about my successes, because this is what's really important. Yeah, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I know I'm going to get there one day. But let me tell you about my successes as well. So, gastritis pain. My gastritis is still not 100%, but it got to the point where, like, it was so painful. I just wanted to die. It was like, I can't live with this. It's horrible. Couldn't eat anything that I ate made it worse, and it was awful. Anyone out there with gastritis, my heart and my stomach lining goes out to you, because God, that is a really painful thing to be digesting your own stomach. It's horrible. Oh, we have some questions and comments. Great. So Nancy says, my healing step for today was messaging a farm with free-range eggs. Thanks for this. Absolutely fantastic, Nancy. Getting your good quality food supply, unbeatable. You have to make sure that your food is good. And if your chickens have been outside and they've been in the sun, they're going to have vitamin D, they're eating all of the bugs and grubs, and they're eating shoots. It's a completely different food compared to something that's fed completely grain. I know you're really putting the work in, Nancy. Keep going, you will get the results. Kyle says, been in mold for 6 years. Horrible. Yeah, I absolutely know what that's like, man. If you're still in the mold, get out of there. Honestly, it's the only thing you can do. You cannot recover from mold while you're still in the environment. I did a lot to improve my symptoms. Like, I got my constipation under control. I got my panic attacks down from like overwhelmingly feeling like I'm immediately about to die to like I'm panicking. Like, so that's good. It's improvement, but you cannot recover from that until you get out of that environment. So if whatever it takes, even if it takes you years, for me it took me a couple of years to do it. That is your primary focus. If you're sick from mold and you're still in a moldy house, you have to get out. That should be the core of your focus. Even if you can only put £20 a month towards the deposit for your new house, for your new rent, absolutely do it. It's the single best thing you can do. So more about my symptoms now. So gastritis still isn't 100%. I would say it is at least 60% better. I primarily attribute that to taking probiotics, because if I stop taking probiotics, it starts getting worse again. So probiotics make a massive difference for me there. having gastritis is really, really tricky, and this is something that I talk about with my one-to-one clients that have watched the 5 Pillars series. If you're struggling with gastritis, it's really tricky because your stomach lining is thin, which is a big problem because you can't take acid supplements. You can't support the acid pillar, but your acid is weak because, well, first of all, your body's smart, so it knows how thick your stomach lining is. It's not going to produce so much acid that you digest yourself. But when this stomach acid is low, pathogenic organisms can move into the stomach and they secrete alkaline substances and they also irritate the lining. So then you're stuck in a position where the stomach is more alkaline than it should be, so it has organisms that are in there that shouldn't be there, that prevent the stomach being able to produce acid, and they irritate the lining, so you get stuck in this cycle. So one of the best things you can do is probiotics, because the probiotics will kill these organisms and move them out and help to regenerate that lining. But this takes time. Honestly, I could see myself struggling with this for another couple of years yet, if I'm completely honest. Healing takes time, but also at the same time, I could see this completely healed in 6 months. This is the thing about healing. You have no idea about the trajectory of where you're going. I've healed. I just realised I've only been in Portugal for about 8 months, and the amount I've healed in 8 months is like absolutely mind-blowing. Give me another 6 and oh my God, I have no idea where I'll even be. So that's way better. Most of my successes are out of my digestive system. They're in the rest of my body. So I used to have absolutely crippling arthritis to the point where it literally felt like I had glass in my joints, in my wrists, in my finger, like my knuckles here, and worst of all was in my ankles. It was so bad that imagine somebody walking without trying to bend any part of their leg. So I'd kind of be walking around like this. I'd be really, really stiff and not trying to move it, because if I would do this, kind of the worst thing I can imagine was trying to wash up a cup, wash up a glass, putting my hand with a sponge in the glass and doing this. It literally felt like I was being stabbed with glass in my joint. It was absolutely awful. That is completely gone. I have absolutely no arthritis at all. Completely healed, completely gone. If I do something absolutely crazy, it might flare up again. And absolutely crazy, I mean take a super huge dose of probiotics or use my bioresonance machine improperly, let's say, irresponsibly. It could flare it up. But from a day-to-day, arthritis completely gone in all of my joints, not a problem. See if we've got any more comments. No, but Andrew Mozzer has joined us. Hey Andrew. Elaine McGinley's here as well, and Joromir. It's lovely to have all of you guys. So, other symptoms that are significantly improved. I never really struggled with brain fog, but my cognition is firing at like a completely other level. And I think this might come off in some of my videos, especially like in the courses and the videos where I'm doing like tutorials and covering topics. The amount of information I can just dish out, and my memory recall is the best it's ever been in my whole life, even before I got sick. So absolutely great. I do have this strange problem with my eyes. I can't even tell you, I don't understand it. I think there is an emotional component to this, but I cannot look at computer screens. So again, hopefully this will inspire you a little bit as well. All of the work that I do in Health Potion and like on Facebook and everything I do, every article that I've written on Health Potion website, all of it has been done on literally a mobile phone like this, a little smartphone. So I can't use laptops, I can't use computers, anything with a screen, I can't watch TV, I can't do any of that. So everything I've achieved has been on my mobile phone. So maybe that will help you see I really do put a lot of work into this. There's so many, it's so difficult to do it on a mobile, but that's what I can do, and that's how I do it. So I'm really like dedicated to this. I can say my eyesight is definitely improving. It's still not great. Compare me to like a healthy person, and it's crap eyesight. But I'm not comparing myself to a healthy person. I'm comparing myself to where I was. So my eyesight is significantly better. I can actually use a laptop for, I don't know, I can use it for like 45 minutes to an hour and I'm okay. I don't want to jinx myself because, like I said, I feel like there's some mental, emotional component to this. I don't really fully understand it yet. But I've done Zoom interviews on it. I help Joanna with doing like the websites and stuff, and I look at it and she does while she's doing the design. So I can look at them now. And like before, I would get stabbing pains in my eyes. It would throw me into a rage. Now I'm okay. It still makes me feel a little bit irritated, but it's so much better. It's so much better. Biggest improvements, mental health wise. I used to have extreme panic attacks where I would feel like I was immediately about to die, or completely on the other end of the spectrum. So instead of anxiety, depression. I would feel so depressed. I would feel suicidal. I would feel like, not like, oh, my life's so bad. It was like, I have to kill myself this second right now. And resisting that was unbelievably hard. But I can tell you, I haven't had these kind of sensations regularly for a couple of years now. They're so much better. Occasionally, I get some anxiety. Occasionally, I get a little bit of depression. The thing is, these are human emotions, so these are never going to go away. These are going to be persistent, and this is what I wanted to say about healing being the journey, and it's not like a place you reach. It's not a destination. You don't ever reach a point where you stop having anxiety or you stop having depression, because these are emotions, and your emotions are part of your compass that tell you go towards this or avoid that. It's how you figure out where you want to move in life. Emotionally, depression can say, I don't like living this life. I have other things that I want to do here. And that's a good sign. You need to change something. What I'm really talking about here is chemical anxiety and chemical depression. So from mold exposure, from leaky gut, from nutritional imbalances and deficiencies, suicidal level depression, absolutely panic attack level anxiety, those things, gone. Don't have them at all anymore. If I eat a bad food, if I do anything that increases my intestinal permeability, yeah, I'll have some depression come back. I won't feel very good, but I just don't eat for that day. I skip eating for that day. I fast, I let my body recover. Next day, totally fine. Completely recovered from it. No anxiety, no depression, completely good mental health. So that's absolutely remarkable. Let me just have a check, see if anyone else has joined us. No. Biggest change for me has to be my physical energy. So I had chronic fatigue syndrome, and an operative word, I don't even identify with that anymore because my energy is remarkable. In fact, in my experience now, I have more energy than Joanna does some days. I have more energy than I think most people do nowadays. I'd say on average, my energy is higher than the average person. And sure, this is because I have really good quality sleep. I take really good care of myself. I eat my optimal diet. I do all of these things, but my sleep is really high quality. And my energy is really, really high. That's what really matters. Sure, I'm not 100%. I'm not where I want to be. If I miss a couple of hours of sleep or I break my bedtime routine, yeah, my sleep quality goes down probably way more than a normal person's would. But I don't do that. I don't drop the ball. I stay consistent and I keep doing what I know works for me. And as a result, my energy is high every single day. I've gone from the point of chronic fatigue syndrome to the point where, so first of all, where I couldn't even really get out of bed. I couldn't bath by myself. I couldn't cook my own food. I couldn't do anything. I literally couldn't look after myself. If it wasn't for my dad, he was actually my full-time carer at the time. If it wasn't for him, I'd be dead. I would not have got through that. Straight up, completely honestly, if I didn't have support there, I would have died. I couldn't have handled that. I wouldn't have been able to get through. Physically, I just physically wouldn't have been able to do it. Forget being able to do all of the stuff in my house. I wouldn't be able to go out and buy vegetables, buy juices, buy food to keep me alive. I physically couldn't have done it. I would have died. So, and on top of that, as I've said, I have this strange-ish issue with my eyes. My fatigue around my eyes was really, really, really bad. So I could use my eyes for maybe 15 minutes a day. For the rest of the day, I was effectively rendered blind. I would have a sleeping mask on my face, even in the daytime, and all I could do is lay there, listen to audiobooks. A lot of the time I would listen to like googly scholarly articles and videos about the microbiome, about healing, about how to do all of this stuff. And this is why I know so much, because I basically just laid there for 8 hours a day just sponging this information in. So this is why I'm such a repository of information now, because I didn't have anything else to do. I was literally just laying there and trying to figure a way out of this problem. If you got any questions and stuff, let me know, guys. And tell me your story as well. So I couldn't use my eyes for more than 15 minutes a day, and that was just putting food in my mouth, basically. That was it. I would feel my way around the house, so I'd like feel my way to get around the house. I literally couldn't even see. This is actually quite embarrassing. My energy was so bad, my eyes were so bad, I couldn't even make it to the toilet. I literally had a bottle in my room that I would go to the toilet in, especially at night, because I just couldn't even get to the toilet. It was really that bad. And to have gone from that, so blind, bedridden, to I don't have any limits on my energy. I can remember, this is something that really brought it into perspective for me. So for those of you that don't know, my fiance Joanna, she's from Portugal, and I moved to Portugal to be with her. But before that, she would come to visit me in England. And I can remember the first time she came over, so the first time we met, I can remember saying, like, we're going to have to sleep in separate beds because you're going to affect my sleep and that will affect my energy levels. I remember we couldn't even walk from, I would say it was a 200-meter walk from one hotel to the other. I couldn't even make that walk. My leg was really bad, like arthritis pains, joint pains around my hips. My energy I was so fatigued. And that was like the first time like meeting a girl that like I love now. So you can imagine how tricky that would be to want to be the man in that kind of situation, and I can't even walk 200 meters. To now, we can literally walk all the way down to the ocean, like 2 miles that way, 2 miles back. There's a, what does Joanna call it? She calls it a frame, which is where you can do like calisthenics and body workouts. I go there, I do a workout, and I come home and I can work, and I can do lives. I've done 2 calls today. I spoke to lovely lady Claire. She's kind of what inspired me to do this, because we were talking about what healing really is. And to have gone from that to this in, like I said, I've been in Portugal for less than 8 months, and I think I met Joanna about maybe 6 months before I moved here, maybe a little bit longer. No, yeah, it's about 6 or 7 months. So I've achieved from going from not being able to walk 200 meters to more energy than I would say the average person has in 15 months. Now, I'm not saying that is a realistic goal for you. What I'm saying is it is possible to get from being that sick to being this healthy. And like I've said, I still have all of these other problems, but the improvements are absolutely remarkable. I can work out again. I didn't even know if I would be able to open my eyes for more than 15 minutes at a time at the worst point. I prayed, I really hoped. It was what like I was holding on to it. It was like, if I can't, then I'll just kill myself now, because this isn't a life that I want to live. But I believed, and I kept going, I kept doing the things that I thought would help me. I kept pushing, just do it, just put in the work. Just do whatever it takes. And it was hard, because I always talk about the physical stuff. I've done hypnotherapy, I've worked with somatic experiencing practitioner, I've done therapy for 4 years, consistently. And I didn't have the money. At one point, I didn't even have benefits. It was ridiculous, like how, so for example, my medical certificates, I'd go to the doctors, they'd say there's nothing wrong with your bloods, you look fine. I went for every single exam possible, no idea about anything that's wrong with it, wrong with me. They say you're completely fine. All I would get was referral to the mental health team, and my medical certificates said medically unexplained symptoms. I mean, how helpful is that? So you can see why I really had to figure this out for myself, because nobody was giving me any help. So I was like, okay, well, I will do whatever it takes. So I go to therapy. I do as much research as I can. It's like, I can remember at one point eating lamb bone broth, and it was absolutely disgusting. I was drinking it, and I was gagging as I was eating it. And I can remember my dad said, if you're going to eat that, get out of this room, because you're making me feel sick. And it's like, I was like, I do not care. Whatever I have to do, I will do it. I am healing. I do not care. Turns out that wasn't really actually good for me. So cut that out. But it just shows you the level of dedication. It's like, if you're at the point where you're like, I'm going to move in this direction towards health. I don't care if I'm crawling, if you're if you're literally crawling on the floor, you're trying to drag yourself in the right direction. If you're going in that direction of healing, it's an inevitability that you're gonna reach it. If that sounds like you, if you can relate to anything that I've said, you feel like you've been let down, you feel like you don't really know what's going on, but you just want to move in this direction and you're dedicated to it, please reach out and talk to me, because this is what I do now. I help people who are stuck like me move towards finding the improvements that I have. And I'm going full disclosure here. I'm saying I'm not 100% healed. I still have problems. I still have food sensitivities. I still haven't been able to reintroduce a food. I've tried. I tried reintroducing some carrot juice that was anaerobically fermented 5 days ago, and it wasn't fermented properly. It began to develop calm yeast, so that even though I'm a health coach, I'm a professional, I still mess it up sometimes. I had a histamine reaction from that. It made my eyes go all itchy, gave me a bit of depression. It wasn't nice. But it happens, and it's part of the journey. Eventually it'll get to the point where it's not a problem. So Nancy says, you are so wonderfully, brutally honest. Thank you, Nancy. I really appreciate that. I'm really finding that there's so much power in the truth, and being completely honest about where I am not only helps me, because instead of having shame and harboring all of these doubts about whether I'm actually helping people or whether I'm manipulating them and taking their money because they're desperate for results, addressing them head on just destroys them. I know how, like saying it out loud and talking about it, I know how absolutely untrue it is. I know how many people I've helped. I know that just because I haven't healed anybody doesn't mean I'm not helping them and I'm not improving the quality of life and I'm not helping them move from this direction of victimhood and despair and I don't know what's going on and I'm never going to heal, to I'm going to do everything it takes to move in the right direction. I don't care what it costs, what it takes, I'm going there. And then at that point, as soon as you make this shift to here, you don't care what it takes, you will do everything. You will spend whatever you have to, whatever happens, you will make it happen. You're dedicated to it. Your health becomes an inevitability. And it doesn't feel like it at the time. Again, another shout out to Dom. I know exactly where he's at. He is literally where I was, maybe even worse, 2-3 years ago. But I see the mindset that he has and the approach that he's taking. So Dom, for anyone that didn't see my last live, he's one of my one-to-one clients, and he's also in the Health Potion Academy. See, this is what I mean. Look at the level of dedication. He's in both. So he's like making his own broth. He's getting into bioresonance. I'm teaching him how to use his bioresonance machine. He's like, he doesn't care what the cost is. He doesn't care what the effort is. He doesn't care. It's like, if he needs to do it, he will do it to heal. And once that shift has been made in the mindset, your health is an inevitability. It's simply a matter of time. And it might sound funny for me saying it when I haven't even reached healed yet, but I know that that's an illusion. It doesn't ever happen. It's peeling the layers of the onion. Once I heal this thing, I'll heal this thing, then I can heal the next thing. You go deeper and deeper and deeper. But I know for someone that's reached the point where you don't care what it takes, you will do anything that is required for you to start moving towards health and healing. Quality of life improvements are almost immediate, and reduction in all of these symptoms and all this pain and all of these uncomfortable sensations that you have in your body, it's an inevitability until they're gone. So just keep pushing in the right direction. Don't think that because you're not healed that you're doing something wrong. Remember, it's not even a journey. I don't even like healing as a journey. I don't like that. Healing is a way of being. It's drop the goal, drop the journey. It's a way of being. You can become healing. And I say this because once you reach a certain point, so I talk about the pyramid, so it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Once you reach this top layer, and I'm starting to touch this top layer, and this top layer is what's inspiring a lot of my work, because as you get to the top layer, you begin to realize, and this might be above some people's heads, and it was for me, and it was very triggering, and it really made me quite upset and angry because I didn't get it. So if it does this for you, I apologize. Don't take it personally. You will experience this. Like I said, if you're in this direction, you're moving towards health and healing, whatever it takes, you will experience this one day. So you come to realize everything is interconnected. Everything is so interconnected. There is no separation. There is no coincidence. Everything all happens as one. And at this point in my healing, I'm realizing that for me to really fully heal, when I say fully heal, I mean for all of the rest of these uncomfortable symptoms that I have to subside, I have to step into my power, and I know that part of my role on this earth is as a healer. I need to start helping other people to achieve the things I have, to find symptom relief, to integrate their emotions and come into alignment with like their conscious identity of themselves and who they really actually are, to bring all of this together. And I know this is a part of my journey. And in this spiritual part, the top of the pyramid, I can't heal this until I'm helping others. And that brings me purpose. And as a man, predominantly masculine energy, my purpose is very important to me, and it's impossible for me to be healed and in alignment with like good physical health if I don't have any purpose. And this is my purpose now. So in a way, me helping you heal actually helps me heal as well. There's almost a selfish element to it. But that doesn't mean it doesn't help you. It does, and it does help me. And I can't wait to help others get to that point in their journey as well. And that's what Health Potion's all about. Because I can tell you, I'm not going to be doing one-to-one forever. I know it's going to happen. It's going to get to the point where I'm so overwhelmed, I'm starting to train the next generation of healers. Maybe it sounds a bit egotistical, but I can see it. We're going to have... Health Potion is going to be huge. We're going to change the world with Health Potion. It's a brand that's going to change the world. So everybody that's still watching, everybody that's here, everybody that's supporting Health Potion in its baby days, supporting me on my journey, I really, really sincerely appreciate you. And I hope that everything that I'm doing, that we're doing at Health Potion, really helps to facilitate significant change in your life, reduce unnecessary suffering, and just make your life even 1% better. If I can do that, my work here is done. So we've got one more comment before I finish up here. Kyle says, I don't know what foods or diet to follow. I've tried elimination diets, but I just react to all foods, constipation being the biggest issue for me. So when you're having problems with your diet, regardless of what it is, that says the problem is more likely your microbiome. I've got a couple of videos on this already. Check the Health Potion group. I don't know if you're in there. Health Potion Protocol. There's some stuff in there. But I would sincerely recommend that you take a look at the 5 Pillars course. The 5 Pillars course is designed to be the first place that you go for any... So it's designed around gut issues specifically, and that's exactly what you're talking about here. But I would point anyone towards this that has fatigue issues, mental health issues, any kind of sensory processing disorder, any kind of condition that can be connected to leaky gut. So if you need more information about that, please let me know. It basically breaks down and helps you digest, it's good pun, helps you digest and understand the function of the gut. So the 5 pillars are stomach acid, digestive enzymes, bile, motility, and the mucosa. If one of these is wrong, it's basically going to be impossible to resolve gut issues. As I was saying earlier, I struggle with stomach acid and the mucosa, and these are really, really hard to fix when they're in combination. I can tell you my enzyme pillar is way better because obviously I have energy now. If you've got any kind of energy problems, if you've got fatigue, enzymes pillar is definitely a problem. My bile pillar is absolutely amazing now. I'm detoxing fat-soluble toxins so fast. My liver, I've actually had some liver pain recently, but I've been pushing myself way too hard on my bioresonance machine. I've got an upgrade. It's like a kid with a new toy. I've just been like, oh, let's just do it. And I've made myself a bit sick with it. My bile pillar is super, super strong. My motility is a tricky one. My motility is more of a emotional root cause. I'm a bit in sympathetic dominance, which means my nervous system signaling to my digestive system isn't as strong as it could be. So that is something that I'm working on. But to give you all of the basics and the groundwork, all of the core information that you need to know, how to identify which pillar is struggling, and how to support it with like natural changes, and then if that still isn't enough, how to support it with supplements, it's your best bet. I've designed it to be the introduction to like basically all of my work. So if you have any difficulties with anything, honestly, that is absolutely where I would go and have a look. I know Nancy's still here. Nancy's used the 5 pillars. She's in the academy as well. She's actually in the academy on a subscription basis, so she's on for an extended period of time. She has access to all of the courses in the academy, and I think Nancy really liked the 5 pillars. I think I remember getting some good feedback from her about that. Let Nancy, if you're there, let Kyle know what you think about the 5 pillars and whether you think it's a good place to start, because then it's not just me telling him, obviously, because I'm selling it. If you tell him your opinion on it, I'd really appreciate that. That would be really helpful. So if you just leave a comment and tell me what you think about the 5 pillars. So, other than the 5 pillars, the 6th class in the course is about the microbiome, and I don't know. I'm sure there's probably one of the 5 pillars off, but by the sounds of it, your microbiome is probably an issue as well. Because if it doesn't matter what you eat, you still have constipation. Constipation is usually either the bile pillar, because you're not producing bile, that's what lubricates the stool, or it's the probiotics pillar, because probiotics is not a pillar, it's the foundation, everything's built on it. You'll understand if you watch the course. And if your microbiome is deficient, you just simply don't have the right flora to make good stools. So that could be the issue. I think that pretty much covers everything. I didn't really want to go too much into the gut stuff. I just wanted to tell you about me, about my story, about where I am. So you know, yeah, I talk about all these stuff. I'm not 100%. I'm still not fully healed. It's not even a journey. It's a state of being. Okay, Nancy replied, she says, yes, Kyle, the basis for understanding digestion, I thought I knew it, but I clearly didn't. So yeah, I strongly suggest you give that a look. Honestly, it's one of my proudest pieces of work. I honestly think it's genius. And I know because I made it, it doesn't really, my opinion of it doesn't have as much value, but I genuinely think it's absolutely genius, the way that it's structured. So if you're interested in that, let me know. You can send me a DM or you can leave me a comment and I'll send you a link to that and you can check it out. But that pretty much wraps this up. As always, if you have any questions, you can leave them as a comment. If you tag me in the comment, I reply to every single comment that I get. If you need something more personal, you can reach out, send me a DM. My inbox is always open. I do get a lot of messages, but I get back to every single person. So if you need me for anything, please reach out and let me know. And thank you for coming. I really appreciate you giving me your attention. That's honestly the most valuable thing in this whole universe. It's more valuable than money. It's more valuable than anything. It's connection. So you've spent this time with me connected and I sincerely appreciate it. So thank you very much for coming. As I said, if there's anything I can do, please just let me know. It would be let's get a bit romantic. It would be my heart's desire. It would be my life's purpose to help you. So please reach out, let me know how I can help you, and I'd absolutely love to do that. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye-bye. Oh, it's this camera.